Got your hair intact.
Mine might not come back. I'm not doing that.
That's what happened to me.
Keldon was talking about one of the things he likes about you is you let the guys be themselves. Is that part of it? Just, not encouraging things, but just embracing whatever they come up with and kind of being a part of it a little bit, I guess.
I think that's been a staple of this organization for a long time, so I don't think it's something that I've brought. I do think I'm someone now that's trying to carry that moving forward for us and make sure we encourage and support that. I think we ask much of these guys to sacrifice and to come together for the better of a group and a team. And so I do think it's important, especially in today's society, whatever that means. But I think young people want to be individualistic at times, and I think that's something we should respect, and that gives them whatever it may be, purpose, feeling good, maybe feeling together in a different way. I'm all for it.
What about Giannis's game, or maybe even just his approach to the game, that you hope Wemby kind of notices and takes notes of?
I think the obvious one is just he plays so hard. And I know that's a simple statement I just said, but the effort and relentlessness he plays with is definitely contagious to his teammates and to his team. And in a season as long as ours, and for how long some of his seasons have been when you include the postseason and how hard he plays, it does become a fiber of the team in terms of whether you want to use culture or you want to use, style of play or identity. But he's been at the forefront of that for a long, long time, and I think that's something to be said for how hard he plays and how durable he's been with that amount of effort and relentlessness.
Doc Rivers was talking about preparing for Wemby and saying, this is kind of what it's like for teams when they prepare for you, to Giannis, so kind of take note. Do you see, you obviously haven't coached against Wemby, but similarities there in terms of you just can't replicate this in practice, in terms of going against a guy like Giannis for the opposite, someone like Wemby for the other side?
Definitely can't replicate it. They're definitely unique for obvious reasons that I don't need to be long-winded on. I do think Giannis has reached a level for some time now of, adult grown man prime. I think there is a difference there right now with him and Victor in terms of Victor is progressing drastically and is projecting in the right direction. But I do think to take a step back and look at Giannis's body of work over time, there is still just some runway there. That's the difference between the two, but I definitely can understand the uniqueness, similarities.
I think you guys lead the league in free throw disparity. I don't know if that's something you can feel in a game when the calls are going against you, but what are some of the things that go into that? It seems like it's getting a lot of free throws, but it's also preventing free throws at the same time.
Yeah, I think some of it is the individual players, right? Some guys are going to draw fouls. We've had teams here since I've been here that didn't draw many fouls at all, and we've been on the other side of the spectrum. A lot of times you can go to the top couple guys that do or don't draw fouls, and that'll carry a good amount of it. But I do think there are certain ways to teach the guys that is trying to be physical without fouling or putting yourself in harm's way or be out of position or whatever it may be taken advantage of by some of these guys that are so hard to guard and so good at drawing fouls. Giannis being one, Doncic, Jokic. There's a list of them that I'm sure is pretty easy to find or to brainstorm. And I think, offensively, you want to make the defense work and feel like you're not letting them off the hook in the sense that if we can work for a better shot for us, let's not settle for a shot that we can make at 16, 17, 18, 20 on the clock. And that's hard when you play in a long game and guys can make shots when you got really good offensive players. It'd be ridiculous to say, so-and-so, that's a bad shot. But if you say, can we get better, a lot of times you probably can if you stay with it.
Aaron talked about how, refs have told him, and he's talking about a foul, refs say, well, you played through it, so they didn't call a foul. With him and with Victor, they get hit a lot. Like, what can you do, or what? I know you've talked to some refs on the court, but what can you do when no fouls are being called because they're able to kind of play through it?
I think every team could have this conversation, right? I think it's one of those, you have to balance playing through it and not letting that uncontrolled variable affect your approach and match whatever physicality or intensity is being put onto you or by the opposition. And then I think it's also understanding, there are certain instances where you probably need to, whether that's show the ref how the foul is happening and occurring. Maybe that's slowing down. Maybe that's, putting the defender in a more out of position way so it's clear, because there's so much jostling constantly going on that every play you can probably say, well, is that, or who initiated that, and it can be tough. And obviously those are two guys, Fox and Victor, that teams, I'm sure on almost everybody's game plan to some certain theme is going to be trying to be physical with them. And so I think over time, if you commit to the right processes and you put your energy into the right spots, they're too talented to not get more outcomes right than wrong if they stay with it.
Mitch, how would you assess Victor at such a young age, balancing being the quarterback of a defense, pointing out the switches and everything that allow him to stay low and protect the rim? How has he balanced all that responsibility with also being aware of what's happening in the action, on the ball, all that stuff?
I think he's balancing it great. I think he's a long, long way from mastering it. And you could probably take that statement that I just said in terms of something positive and a long way away from being where we want to be for a lot of things with this team. And that's part of the beautiful struggle and the fun battle that we are in at this part of our journey of just, we've shown that we have potential to do a lot of great things. And the reality is that we've not done anything and we're a long way from being really where we want to be. And so you're not skipping steps and you're keeping perspective over here, and then you're competitive as heck and you want it all right now over there, and it's a fun place to live.